Good morning, beauties all over the world. Looks like I'm live. Yes, I've come back in from opening the gate for the chickens now, so they don't bother me through the live stream. So, yeah. Okay. So, good morning. Blessings to you all over the planet Earth. I hope everybody is well and enjoying the transition into winter in the northern hemisphere, or for me in the southern hemisphere, going into summertime. And I feel so blessed right now with the most incredible weather. We have had just stunning weather these past couple of weeks, and has it been too hot? Has it been too cold? It's just like the sweet spot right in the middle. I feel so blessed that Mother Earth is prolonging this good weather, day after day. And because there were a couple of weeks that were really hot, but now it's just beautiful. It's paradise. It's perfect. So here we are, 2019. 2019. Hollow Earth. Where are we at? Where are we at? When I first got into this subject years and years ago, I first spoke about it in, I can't remember if it was 2009 or 2013. I did a video when I was actually in Almaty, Kazakhstan, speaking about this. And since that time, so much has changed on the internet. We have so much information. There's such an influx of information, of conspiracy theories, and now the problem is, or what people of Earth are having a challenge with, is discerning truth, fact from fiction. And I know this because I see the information that is just flooding, saturating this digital world we now live in, but also because I'm still getting emails from people about if I believe the earth is hollow. If I believe the earth is hollow. I'm going to go into my personal opinion after, and what I believe to be the case, but I just wanted to address a couple things outlining what seems to be fact, and then going into detail about pictures before they have been tampered with. So we already know the state of the world. We know the world we live in, and people are feeling, they are feeling it. They are feeling this tech age. They are feeling this digital age. And it's never been, our personal lives, our lives in general have never been more public. And this can either cause an anxiety within people, or it creates an addiction within people. And there are people in between, and there are people that you have used this platform to show and share everything about their lives, and then there are others that feel a violation of privacy because now bank bank you know bank accounts are online, your personal details are online, everything is online, and you have a cell phone, trusty old cell phone here, that has where you are all the time. You are known. Every second of your life, if you own one of these, your GPS on the planet, you can be found within seconds, within an instant. You are no longer having private lives. So unless you don't have one of these things we call cell phones, or if you don't have a bank card, or if you don't have any kind of cell chip technology attached to you, unless you don't have any cell chip, um, you will be easily found. Simple as that. We can be found within an instant, anywhere in the world, and like it or not, that is the truth. We know that's the truth. We can be tracked anywhere on the surface of this planet. And the only reason and the only way we can get away from that is if we don't have a cell phone, if we don't have a bank card, if we don't use technology, which is kind of rare these days because everyone is somewhat involved in technology. And we know that is the truth. Subliminal programming, we know that is truth. We only have to see the addiction of this age, and it is the worst addiction, more than drugs, more than anything else. Cell phones, cell phone addiction. I remember when I was on the east coast of Australia, I was sitting on the train looking out the window. When I looked in a suburban subway system, like the train line, the suburban train line for Sydney, I did not see one person looking out the window. Every single head was down like this. And if I didn't see their cell phone, I knew they were looking at something like this. This has taken over our world. We used to just have a regular phone where it was such a luxury to have a phone with us that we could call someone whenever we wanted. And that was a luxury in itself. Do you remember? Do you remember when the screens were like this small? And we had to tap, 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 tap to try and send a text message to someone? Those days are long gone. And now we have these big glass screens that we have access into everyone's life. We share our lives. We share things that we want to share. And there is just such an influx of information, of openness, and it's addiction. It is addiction. People cannot live without their cell phone. People cannot stay away from social media. And, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing, but there is an addiction. There is an addiction. I would definitely say it's not a good thing. My personal opinion, it's not a good thing. For sure, it's not a good thing because now we have created even more separation between the humankind, between the human race. We think it's okay to have relationships with people online without having face-to-face interaction and seeing someone's emotion when they're talking. Better put my plug in. Sorry, there we go. So seeing someone's emotion when they're talking, touching them, seeing them smile in real time, not just FaceTime, but being able to, I know FaceTime is good if, you're separated from your family, but being able to sit with someone, having dinner, having lunch, and talking face to face, you know, feeling their breath, feeling their warmth. Those days are becoming rare and rarer. And then, you have the whole dating scene online. And I know it may be convenient for those who are shy or don't have the time or whatever, but again, it takes that magic out of natural interaction between the human species. And that is a fact. So, that is another fact that we seem to be moving more and more into this digital age and this digital reality. There are those that are very conscious of this and are pulling away. There are those that are going back to nature, and there are those in between that have created a healthy balance. Because technology is not bad, it's the same as money. You know, people say money is the root of all evil, but it really isn't. It really isn't. It's the energy behind it. And I believe if you can create a balance with these two, there is no problem. Everything in moderation, everything in balance. I went 24 hours just to see without using technology a couple of days ago. It was hard. It was hard. I mean, I'm talking about technology as in what I usually do in the mornings is get up, check my emails. Um, of course, you know, when I run an online business, I have to check my emails in the morning to see if I have any more orders and things that have come through regarding orders. That's business for me. But the other things I didn't miss. Um, you know, like YouTube or I'm barely on these anyway. I was more talking about, you know, checking bank things online, connection with business. I didn't do it for 24 hours, and I'm telling you, it was hard. I missed it. I felt that immediate isolation. It is hard to detach from that world. It really is. So, and that's a fact for me. That is a fact for me. But I have created a very conscious, healthy balance of technology and natural living in my world. That's my reality. I don't live in that global reality, and I've consciously made my life like that. Um, Another fact is, and now I'm going to get into the more grand scheme of things and the subject that I'm covering today, is the deceit and the lies of the people and the bodies that we have in power on our planet. I don't approve of any government or any leader as we speak today. I don't approve of any of them because if they were making a difference, if they truly were working together and making a difference, we would not have starvation. We would immediately, and I mean right now, we would we would be combating the pollution problem on this planet. We would be doing this right now. We would have teams and teams from various parties from every nation on this planet cleaning up our planet. That means putting a stop to oil, putting a stop to um, things like deforestation, taking and cleaning our oceans, doing what we can to rebalance our planet. And I'm not going to go on the whole climate change thing, but because there is a lot of propaganda around that. But with our galactic plane, within our galaxy, we obviously, you know, we circle the sun, and it is natural that a planet and its orbit and its planetary neighbors and our solar system in general goes through different seasonal changes. Just like we go through seasons in a year, the sun and our part of the galaxy also goes through seasonal changes. And so there have been times recorded in our galactic history where there have been, you know, galactic glacial ages and points where there is more heat and planets become inhospitable. That I absolutely agree with. I just believe that everything that exists on a microcosmic level mirrors in a macrocosmic level. I believe the orbit of electrons within an atom and these subatomic particles mimic how a galaxy, how planets and stars move within the center, orbit around the center of a galaxy. I truly believe that, and I've always said this, that secrets of our existence and questions that we have about our existence can be answered in the smallest of things, and in nature, of course, in nature. So I truly believe it is fact that we are being lied to and we are being deceived and we are not being told the truth, and the truth about our planet, the truth about our planetary history, the truth about our humankind in general, the truth about, of course, the UFO, alien agenda, and the truth that our global governments do not have control of this planet. I believe that 100%. They do not have control and they answer to somebody. And so that means because there is so much deception and they because they are not telling us the truth, there is a lot of cover up. And people aren't dumb. People aren't stupid. People know that there is deceit and deception and lies, and people are tired. People are frustrated. Nobody believes in their governments, and if they do, they've had some kind of programming. Those at the top, whatever the top is, have a personal vested interest in their own gain, monetary gain, or climbing the ladder of whatever that ladder is. But I truly believe in my heart that one of the reasons that we are not being told the truth is because our global governments are not in control. They report to somebody else, and that somebody else, I happen to believe, is off world, extraterrestrial, in whatever capacity that is. I'm not too sure. I have my own opinions about that, but I truly believe that so much about our history, including the pyramids, including Mars, including the moon, including planetary history in general, has been covered up, has been all covered up. And if anything is leaked, like pictures of a hollow earth or pictures of UFOs, they are laughed. They're laughed at and they are quickly denounced and made to look fabricated. And it's a huge thing. I really truly feel that we are the last things our governments care about. They don't give a damn about human species on this planet. Those at the top, I don't believe so. I do believe, though, there are those that do care within these brackets, and they are feeling helpless to do anything about it. I do believe there are people of good nature in these top top tier positions, but I feel that their hands are tied. I truly believe this. Um, so, you know, a lot of people on this planet feel helpless. They feel helpless about what they can do to help themselves and to start creating their own worlds of truth and balance and harmony. And that's why a lot of people have come online to try and seek information, to try and seek truth. And then that's where the confusion starts, is because they don't know. They don't know where the truth is. They can't discern the difference anymore. So, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of background, and I'll be here all day if I sit here trying to explain um, and separate the truth from fiction. And see, that's another thing, is that people will now say, well, that's your truth. Um, this is my truth, that's your truth. People will believe anything they want now. You know what? I have to stand up for a minute because as I'm sitting here on this chair, oh my gosh, like I have just, as I'm talking about this subject, I have just got the worst pain in my groin area. Not in my groin, but on my right leg, right in that groin joint. I don't know what the hell that is, but that has just hit me so hard. I don't know what that's from, but that is super, super weird. I don't know what that is, but that's painful. That's really, really painful. My goodness. So anyway, let's get into this hollow earth subject. I've kind of just gone generalized here and given a roundabout introduction, but bottom line is people know that things are not right on this planet. And one of those is the truth about our planet in general. Is our planet hollow or is it not? I'm going to share a picture here. People have this idea that the earth is hollow. It's this Agartha. Many of you have heard about Agartha being that there's this inner world within our planet. And I don't know if it looks like this to an extent. This is obviously a beautiful portrait depicted by an artist. But I do believe there is some kind of activity like this happening within the earth, being that there are ETs living within the earth, and there have been forever. I truly believe that's been going on forever. So I just want you to look at this picture that was taken in 1969? Was this when it was taken? 1969. What do you notice about this picture? What do you notice about this picture? Can you notice anything different? Look to the top of the North Pole. Look at that. Do you see that? That looks like a cavity to me. This was a picture that, now where did I first see this? I saw this picture. This was actually taken from a book by an author called Nigel Calder. He has a book called Violent Universe. I don't think you can find it online anymore. Gee, what a coincidence. But I first heard of this guy from years and years and years ago from Alex Collier. Here's a close-up. That was taken by, who was that taken by? It was, I'm not sure who it was taken by. 1969. These pictures, I feel that this is one of the originals before NASA got to the photoshopping skills and blurted it out. Everyone seems to think that the earth, the hollow, like the hole into the earth would be would look uniform, would look like a circle. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So, if this isn't an original picture, you know what? Bottom line, it's just lovely to see a picture of our planet before, before 1980. Before digital photoshopping. Because now when you see pictures of our planet, past 2010 or whatever, I don't even know if that is how our planet actually looks like. I don't know even if I don't trust NASA. So I don't even know what we're getting if it's an actual picture of our planet. But this looks like a natural picture of what our planet appears to be. To me, it feels like it is. And it looks beautiful. Our planet is stunning. I feel we're so lucky, and we're so blessed to be living on such an incredible planet. And if you notice at that top, you see a cavity, you see a hole there, and something's up. And if this is an authentic picture, as Nigel Calder claims it to be from 1969, then, it's concerning. It's concerning that nobody is talking about it. I just find that incredible to look at. I love it. I love looking at this picture. So if there is a hole in the earth, then that must mean there is an entrance to an inner world of some sort. Here's another picture. This is a heat signature of the North Pole. Now, isn't this an interesting picture? Nobody seems to know where the actual North Pole is. But this is a heat signature of planet Earth and the North Pole. Look at all that heat coming out from the North Pole. Now, there was an explorer back in was it the 1920s? Was it Fredenberg? I can't remember his name. That flew over the North Pole and was talking about how ice in this area had not only melted, but it was not salt water in the North Pole. And animals, instead of going south, they were heading north. They were heading north. It was warm in the north, believe it or not. But if you are to look at pictures of planet Earth now by Google Earth, you can totally see clouds are photoshopped all over the top, as if it's a big ice brick. And I don't believe that to be the case. I have got a picture of Antarctica today. That is a crock of shit. That picture right there. I'm going to get into the South Pole in a minute. But that is the South Pole, courtesy of Google today, right now. So anyway, let's go back to this beautiful picture. So if this is the case and there is a hollow Earth, who is down there? What is going on in the center of our planet? And what's being hidden from us? In one of my recent interviews, actually no, it's not recent. Sorry, it's not recent. With Tony Rodriguez, he talks about how when he was on his 20-year and back program, if you haven't seen that interview, go and check that out on my channel. But he talks about how they would be doing drop-off missions from Ceres, a planetary body, the biggest planetary body in the asteroid belt, in between Mars and Jupiter, and they would come to Earth every day, almost every day, and do drop-offs at a military base called Diego Garcia, which is south of Sri Lanka. And he talks about at sometimes they would go into the Earth. And he talks about this incredible race of beings that were like rock stars. That they had such an energy and the Germans, the German fleet, who he was a part of, they were in awe of these guys. It was like they were Elvis. And of course, this isn't the first time I have heard of beings living within our Earth. They have been forever, and there is probably so many cavities and so many things going on within our planet. That's just one thing that we're not told about. Do you remember at school when you do your geography class or your, environment class or science class or whatever, how we are shown a diagram of the picture of what is going on within our Earth? I do not believe our Earth is a solid mass of moltenized metals, and I believe at some point, I do believe that. I don't believe that there is like a sun within the middle of our planet. I do believe there is a heat source though, And I do believe that that could be a combination of these molten metals on a chemical, going through chemical synthesis, are creating and generating their own heat. That's just my opinion about that. I don't believe there is another sun within our planet. I believe if there was another sun, it would have to be so hot, it would have to be so bright that we would see it constantly coming up through the North Pole and the South Pole. We would see this. And if there was a sun, let's just say there was, we would never see it anyway because NASA would Photoshop that shit out so quick. We would never see that anyway. But I don't believe, when we look at our sun, when we see our sun in the sky, we feel the warmth of that. But we can't even imagine the warmth of being so close to a sun and how much energy it would take and how much gravity it would take to hold. I believe it would fry our planet from the inside out. I do believe, however, there is a heat source. I do believe there is a heat source that it's just a natural heat source that it is a chemical synthesization from, or chemical synthesis from these molten metals moving around. Because I don't know how deep these cavities go within the Earth. You have to remember the circumference of our planet. It's huge. It is huge. And I truly believe there are cavities that are massive, enormous, everywhere, littering our planet. And they're talked about. They're talked about by, if you listen to the Lacerda files, she talks about these enormous caverns. If you have ever listened to Phil Schneider, he talks about these massive caverns. If you, there's so much. There's so much. It seems to be so natural that there are so many caverns. It's just a natural thing that there are so many caverns. Even there's caverns, there are, huge walkways going beneath the pyramids. That's a whole nother thing. But I believe there are caverns and there are groups of beings and civilizations that we have no idea about that have been existing beneath and within our planet forever, ever since its inception. So I do believe there is absolutely a hollow earth, but to what extent that hollow earth is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't been told. I haven't been shown. From my own, sources, I have not seen that. I have not seen that. As far as I know, I haven't seen that. But I do believe with the evidence that has presented itself, I do believe there is partial areas within our planet that are 100% hollow, and they are huge. They are enormous. You could fit cities. And in fact, there are probably, I don't know if you would call them cities, but I do feel that there are enormous communities and groups having a fully fledged living existence underneath our planet. And so people are wondering where all these strange noises and things are coming from when they're hearing these. Don't be so surprised. There are beings and things and even humans, military, living within our Earth. So there is so much shit going on beneath our surface. You are going to be hearing strange noises coming from within the Earth. And it's frightening for some people. We had a 3.2 earthquake here over a month ago, and that sound. I mean, that was, well, I think it was natural. I don't know. I have never heard those big sounds that people are recording online, but I know how it sounded when Mother Earth was shaking the earth underneath my house, and I was scared. It sounded like a 747 jet just taking off, like underneath my house. I was shit scared. I ran outside. And I saw my neighbor. He ran outside too. And like, yeah. So I can't even imagine how a 6-pointer or a 10-pointer would ever feel. But even a 3-pointer was, I felt that. I definitely felt that. So now get into let's get into Antarctica now. This is really contradictory. Whoops. 6 South Pole home. What happened there? Okay. So here is the South Pole. And there has been talk of also a heat signature being on Antarctica. Now, I mean, that's not surprising because, obviously if there are two holes at either end of the planet, heat is going to be shown coming from beneath the surface as well. But then, I showed you this picture here of Google Earth. This is what we're shown of Antarctica. That shit is so photoshopped. That is not true. Because then when you go online, there is this area that people have spoken about, right? And they call it the Antarctic Oasis. It actually had another name. It was called I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but it was called the Bangor Oasis, right? The Bangor Oasis is an area of 500 square kilometers free of ice, with a temperature of more than 25 degrees Celsius, with lakes, springs, vegetation, several bird species, and seeing this picture here from Google Earth, that shit is not real. And that's annoying. That's irritating to me because we would see. I know this isn't a close up, but I've gone close up on this entire area, and the whole damn thing is covered in ice, right? We would be able to see from Google Earth an area of 500 square kilometers that is not covered in ice. They talk about this area not being covered in ice. We would see that. We would see that on this map if that is the case. So something's not right. Someone is lying. Someone is deceiving us. Someone has either covered that up or this place does not exist. I don't believe the latter of what I just said. I do believe it exists. I do believe it exists. And I do believe it exists because when you go on to Wikipedia, they have now called this oasis the Antarctic Oasis. They say here, an Antarctic oasis is a large area naturally free of snow and ice in the otherwise ice-covered continent of Antarctica. And they've got some pictures of some areas, the Wright Valley, Cape Hallett, Home Bay. There's these areas where they talk of that are naturally free from snow. And scientists seem to speculate that this is because of particular regional weather patterns and geography. I think that is a big crock of shit. I think they all know something. They know what's up. They know that there is a hole in Antarctica and there is a heat source coming from the center. And they're doing what they do best, covering it up, covering the information up, and have photoshopped snow or ice covering Antarctica. I truly believe that Antarctica, there's so many secrets, there's so much going on with this place. I don't know if we'll ever know the truth of it. There are so many military bases, there are so many scientific bases down here. And there was a picture that I had, oops, here it is, there. That is apparently a 3D radar picture of a hole at the South Pole, at Antarctica. And around this area, there are so many military bases. There's so much regulation and rule and control. You know, you would never see this. You would never see this. You would never see this. So, yeah. So what I do know is that something is not right. We are being deceived yet again. I do believe that there is something going on in both the North Pole and the South Pole. There is so much information that's come out about Antarctica. Tony Rodriguez mentioned how they would enter through the South Pole. They would go through Antarctica to, I'm pretty sure he said that, the entrance was at Antarctica. And there is this huge conglomerate. There is a huge enterprise at Antarctica. So much is going on. And so that's why there is so much military, so much regulation or regulatory protocol for this area. You can't just go there. You cannot just go there and take a holiday. I mean, you can, but you've got to pay a lot of money, and you will not ever go to these places. So if it is true, and if anyone knows about these heat signatures, I'm really interested about the heat signatures, because that discounts that picture that NASA is showing us right now. This is today. I took a screenshot of this. That would be a phony picture if there are both a heat signature coming from the North and the South Pole. So if that is the case, if there are two holes at the North and the South Pole, they are leading into somewhere. They're going into somewhere. Where they're going, I don't know. I don't know that information, but I suspect that so much information has been withheld from us regarding our Earth and whether or not our Earth is hollow. So, like I say, my personal opinion is that our Earth is hollow to an extent. I mean, I would love to believe that there is an Agartha and it is gorgeous and it's like paradise, but I don't believe that that is the reality of it. It may be in some parts, in these huge big caverns and communities. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been shown it myself. I don't believe I have. But so I don't believe the Earth is solid. And I do believe there is an internal heating source. I don't know to how much extent, though, the Earth is hollow. Because our circumference of the Earth is massive. It's huge. What is the circumference of the Earth? I don't know. What is it? 23,600 kilometers? I don't know. Something like this? Maybe? I don't know. I'm guessing. It's huge. It's huge. And that's a lot of space, you know, to think about. If you look at New York City, how many square kilometers does New York City cover? Not many. What is it, 10 kilometers? And New York City has millions of people living in it within that small condensed space. So it doesn't take much land mass to take care of millions of people or millions of beings. So yeah, I'm kind of, I know something's not right, and I know that the truth is not being told to us. I mean, what's new? But if I can give a practical opinion, I do think that the Earth is hollow, but I just don't know to what extent. And I do feel there are holes at both the North Pole, entry points into the North Pole, and to the South Pole. I believe that's where the Aurora Borealis comes from. I believe there is something more to that. I feel that whatever is emitted from the North Pole entry points, that it is somehow synthesizing in the atmosphere, and it's creating this beautiful luminous effect. And if people say, oh, it's come from the sun, then why aren't we all seeing them? Why am I not seeing an aurora borealis? Rah, rah, rah. Such a mouthful. Why am I not seeing one here at my house if it's from the sun? I got a beautiful dark sky at night. You should see my Milky Way galaxy here. Why am I not seeing auroras here? I'm not seeing them. You only see them at the North and the South Pole. Why? Why? I think those entry points, I think those holes have something to do with it. You know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why the North and the South Pole would have them and we don't here. I've never seen them. In my life, I've never seen them here. We have some of the darkest night skies on the planet. So, it's a little food for thought. I'm sure, you know, many people have their own opinions about things, and I welcome that. And I think it's healthy to discuss these and talk about them. But I'm all about having a practical opinion. I mean, it'd be beautiful and a fantastic fantasy to have this incredible world within our world. But, you know, let's just be practical about it, and, you know, try and back it up with some evidentiary support, some truth. You know, I'm all about being a practical truth seeker. So I feel like I'm a pretty practical person. I'm pretty simple. And, you know, I like practicality. I like practicality, especially when it comes to things of finding out more about the truth. And we, as a humankind, and our planet, our beautiful planet Earth. I have not, I've been on this one page forever, so I don't even know if anyone's watching this. Oh, hello everyone. Now I'm seeing all your comments. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to read through some of these here. Salam Farah. Shlonech Habibti. Hi Leah. Greetings to you too, honey. Hi Carmen. Hello, beautiful. Nice to see you too. Carmen says, my phone case has been through some things. It sure has. Because a lot of you know that I did get an iPhone 6. It was a disaster. I smashed the case that I had for it within a week. So I went back to my trusty old iPhone 4. And you know what? It's okay. I honestly do not use this phone much throughout the day. And if I do, it gets charged like 20 times a day. And I usually leave the phone cord on there, but I'm not much on social media. Sometimes I post on my Instagram at Andulairah or Noor Gardens, my gardening pictures, because my roses are in bloom right now. And sometimes I'm posting my soap at Soap of Pasargadae. But other than that, yeah, I don't have people I don't have people calling me. I don't call people. I might speak to my parents, and some friends every now and then. But that's it. That's it. And that's why I only need an iPhone 4. Mundo. Hi, Mundo. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Cameron says we're used to being overstimulated by technology and entertainment that it feels weird if we aren't consumed by something every minute of the day. 100% agree with that. Like the stimulation, now it's like a hypersensitivity. People are hyperstimulated, and it's a matter of first of all acknowledging that and then doing something about it. And that's why I'm always encouraging people to go out in nature. Go out in nature, start a garden, get your hands dirty. You know, when my cousin came here from Adelaide, like the main city, and we had a bit of a scrap. We didn't have a scrap, but I got very frustrated with her because not only is she lazy, she destroyed my kitchen when I was sleeping in the other house. I come into a disaster zone the next morning, but she just didn't care for my environment and how I had everything done, and everything was a mess. There is literally shit everywhere. Um, I've got a video, I think, on that talking about how she wielded, I don't know how she did it. I mean, it was pretty amazing how she wielded my favorite coffee mug onto the stovetop of my stove because she left the mug on a hot plate while she was on her phone. And next thing, big bang, big explosion, and I walked in the morning, and my coffee cup, the glaze of the cup, had stuck onto the glass of my stove. And here she was rolling around in bed. Oh, yeah, I was going to clean that up, but the water was too cold last night. Don't give me that shit. Oh, hell, did I give her my mind. I gave her my mind very firmly in this kind of tone. I'm not an angry person, but believe me, when I need to get a point across, I don't need to say much. I think it's the energy that emanates from me. But she sat up in that bed so damn quick. Then the tears started. Oh my God. Anyway, she told me, I only use my phone 4 or 5 hours a day. I'm like, girl, and you think you don't have a phone addiction? Like that is a proper addict right there. 4 or 5 hours a day? My God. She says, my friends are like using it 8 or 12 hours a day. I'm just like, wow. What world do I live in? I live in a very different world to what seems to be the norm in what's happening everywhere else. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I do believe there is a hypersensitivity, hyperstimulation of technology, and it's concerning. And that's what I said, it's concerning. But if you are quick enough and smart enough to notice that, if you do have something like that, and to try and rectify that, like, I think that's fantastic. And just to slowly work with yourself and create new good habits. Mondo says they don't care about anyone except themselves. I watched a documentary about a man in Africa. I don't remember which country, but he was Muslim. He built a forest by himself, and scientists from around the world came to study and how he plants trees, and he uses termites to his benefit. Someone one day set his forest on fire. He had to start from scratch. Humans can be so jealous. Yeah, and ready to destroy anything, even when it benefits them. Yeah, that's how humans can be. That's how humans can be. I haven't read that story. Haven't read about that. Avmos says here, cold Arctic vortex with warm eye in the inside, perhaps. I have no idea. Avmos says Native American stories about the ant people are pretty fascinating when it comes to hollow earth. So much potential space within the volume of Earth's interior. And absolutely, and that's and when you think about things like that, it kind of makes sense. Like, you know, we have all this space within our planet to use. Why wouldn't we use it? Why wouldn't we use it? Provided that it's not creating an imbalance with Mother Earth. I mean, if anything that has happened on the top is to go by, I wouldn't let us go into the center or within the Earth, because look at the shitstorm that follows us, what we've done, what we've created, and what we've created, all the waste, all the byproducts, all these things we do not know how to deal with, especially things like nuclear waste. They think it's safe just storing this shit in canisters and putting it in an area on the planet, aka Africa, in poor areas in Africa where they seem to think that's not going to make any difference. And also, not just Africa, but right here in my backyard, the Aboriginal community here has put up such a protest because nuclear waste. I even went to one of the talk shows when I was living in the desert, because they were coming to try and educate the community about the safety mechanisms in place, and how, oh no, this is a good thing for your community. There was a huge protest by the Aboriginal elders, by the Admiral community, saying how they do not want this nuclear waste dumped on their land. And I'm not actually sure if it went ahead or not. I'm not sure if it went ahead, but I was adamant with speaking with this scientist, or this engineer, geoscience engineer, talking about, how can this be safe? Well, it's put in these canisters and then it's set in this concrete, a meter thick, and it is not safe. Mother Earth, give her an earthquake, all hell breaks loose. It's all gone. And we have that beautiful big artesian basin, which is a massive aquifer underground. That nuclear energy seeps into the soil, seeps into the water. No more water, no more humans. I just think if we cannot get rid of nuclear waste or synthesize it in a way where it is healthy and safe to handle and to inhale, we should not be dealing with it. We should not be dealing with it. If we cannot dispose of it and get, or it cannot not biodegrade, if it cannot break down within a day, within 24 hours, we shouldn't be using it. They're talking about, the waste of nuclear energy taking 500,000 years, 20,000 years to break down. Why are we using it? We do not understand the splitting of the atom as much as we think we do. We do not. We should not be playing with this. And we only have to see the other planetary disasters. Look at Moldak. Look at the destruction of Atlantis and Lemuria. So much destruction has come from the splitting of the atom. And the only reason there are not all-out wars on our planet is because of our atomic weaponry. Because that is everyone's everyone's stronghold. That is the threat that everyone uses with each other, right? That is the only way that we are not warring on this planet, is the nuclear arsenal that countries have around the planet. Because if we didn't have nuclear energy, I'd say there'd be so many wars going on, because they'd be using whatever they could to decimate each other. But because the threat of nuclear energy is so, it's so big, and we know that if we use it too much, we could destroy our planet, explode our planet, and completely wipe out the entire human race. That is the only reason we're not at war, and why, we know the dangers of it, but we shouldn't be playing with it either. We should not be using it. We should not be using nuclear energy for anything. We have so much free energy, healthy green energy we could be using, and it doesn't involve nuclear energy. I have this argument with my father so much. Him and I are like chalk and cheese, but um, there are so many people that are not educated with nuclear energy. Or the repercussions of it, and how deadly and dangerous it is. Not until it affects their own personal lives do people feel the repercussions or the consequence of it. They seem to think because it's happening elsewhere, oh well, it doesn't really affect me, so um, I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we shouldn't be playing with it. Yes, Admiral Byrd. That's right. Mundo says the Nazis had expeditions to the South Pole to check the theory. They sent Admiral Byrd. That's right. And Admiral Byrd was the one that noticed the hole, apparently. And when he flew over, his bearings all got muddled up. He didn't know what direction he was in. And he also mentioned how the curvature of going in, it was very subtle. You didn't actually know that you were going into the cavity of the hole, because it's such a massive hole. It's almost as if you don't even notice that you're going into the hole. I remember him saying that. But he was the one saying how the water was not salt water. It was rainwater. It was, natural water. And that uh, the animals would be migrating north, where the climate was warmer. So and it would make sense that the Nazis were exploring this, because Tony Rodriguez talks about this 20-year and back program that began with an offshoot of the German Nazis that now reside on Ceres. And of course, it ties in with him saying that the Germans were always at Antarctica, and they were exchanging cargo, they were exchanging goods. Basically, there was a whole agenda, and is a whole agenda going on. And so, like I was saying in the beginning of this live stream, how our global governments don't give a damn about us. For sure, they don't. Their main number one priority is just getting more tech, is getting more technology. Um, but I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to hit a wall. They're going to hit a wall, and they'll realize that there is only so much we humans can do without needing to become more self-aware about us, our consciousness. And I think science can only progress so far until consciousness gets involved. And that's where it starts to get, it just opens up another door, another world. And I think scientists probably know that now. Maybe they are tampering with consciousness. I think if they are, it's even more dangerous than nuclear. I think playing around with soul energy, I do not believe our scientists on this planet would understand that technology. of playing with soul energy, like some ETs have been known to do, of snatching soul energy, or trying to will take soul energy and then put it into a clone body. I think that kind of technology, genetic technology, biotechnology, I think that's far, far. I think you need an intelligence that's probably beyond ours on this planet. I don't know much about that. I just know that we shouldn't be playing with it. The witch is in. Hello, the witch is in. You always bring me so much inspiration. I adore you, darling. You always talk about such fascinating topics. Oh, thank you so much. You know what? I just think these are normal topics. I think these are topics that we should be addressing. And like I say, you know, I'm all about practicality and just presenting it as it's being shown. And I seem to think that, well, I know, and we all know, that things are not right on our planet. We know things are not right because we are still suffering from disease. We still have to pay to live on a planet we were born on. We still have homeless people. We are told we need to take pills to make ourselves better. We still have violence. We still have wars. We still have starving people. You know, there's so many things. We still have animal cruelty. I mean, there's so many things. There's so many things going on. We know things are not right on our planet. And so it's a matter of making it right. And it is easy to feel helpless for many people, thinking, well, what can I do? How the hell can I make a difference? You can make a difference. You can make a difference just by changing your own small local environment. I'm doing it. You know, I'm one person, and if I inspire people to, you know, go out and create that kind of life as well, then fantastic. But you can change your environment, and it just starts from the smallest thing. It may be, you know what, it may be as simple as having a kitchen sink. I'm looking at my kitchen sink now, and planting 5 pots of herbs. From you creating life from those seeds, you are, not only are you generating more oxygen, you're creating sentience and consciousness and good energy in your kitchen. You have created life. You know? Do you know how much oxygen one tree emits? Like one fully grown tree. It emits so much oxygen. It takes in carbon dioxide. So one tree or even a plant can make all the difference. And it's so beautiful to live with plants in your home. They give such a good energy. There's such an intelligence there. You know, I love having plants in my house. You should see my bathroom. You know, so you can make a difference. And it doesn't matter how small it is, you are making a difference. You are creating your reality. You don't have to buy into the reality that you're listening to. And that's why I make a conscious effort of not paying attention. I have no idea what's going on in the world right now. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I don't watch TV. I'm not much on social media, but even so, my social media is conditioned so that I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that other influence. I'm not seeing things I don't want to see. My social media, my Noor Gardens Instagram, for example. I see posts of other people's flowers and gardens and things, and that's inspiring to me. So, social media in many ways can connect you with like minded people that are homesteading or farming or growing gardens. So that inspires me. And if I see anything I don't like, I, I filter that out. It's pretty easy to do, but you first got to be conscious of it. Um, so yeah, it's just a matter of acclimatizing your own environment, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of it here. And like I said, I could live without technology, but I would feel isolated. It might be different if I had a family and if I had children. I may not feel the isolation as much, but because I'm a person living on their own, um, you guys are my local community. My mother was saying to me a few weeks ago that she says to me a lot, but she says I need to integrate myself into my local community, which she means this one here. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This right here, you guys, you are my local community. We're like-minded. We share similar views. I can talk about things without being, what's she smoking kind of thing. So, whereas in that local community outside, like in neighboring towns and things, the talk and the chat is very surface. It's very surface. It's more polite kind of talk. I'm sure there's fantastic people that you could have these conversations with, but I'm talking about, like on a daily basis. So um, these people, I don't know them that well. I don't know them that well. Um, and again, these communities, especially, they're very religious. They're very Catholic. They're very Anglican. They're very Presbyterian. And it's just different mentality. So, um, yeah, I don't need to be in that local community, and this is my local community right here. Now I'm gonna finish this up like very quickly because I feel like I've covered what I wanted to say about the Hollow Earth. So I have been asked about this. 2019, it when I now I'm back online. Um, when I look back at how the internet was back in like 2000, 2001, old interviews and documentaries, I just think, wow, now the influx of information has just gone a thousandfold, and it is difficult for people to know the truth, know the truth about things. So yeah, I just, you know what? As an end note, I know this is completely off subject. This is like 180, but this is a message for Sherilyn Barnes. Honey, if you are watching, Shez and I first go way back. Sherilyn, can you believe it? This caramel chocolate has been sold out again. I've never been on this caramel thing, but apparently, okay, so Cadbury chocolate for sure is the best chocolate. And Sherilyn Barnes made a video a year ago about caramel chocolate. I never heard of it, never known about it, but because of Sherilyn, I knew about it. So anyway, um, just a couple of weeks ago, I just happened to walk into my store. I see this caramel chocolate and it's on the shelves. It's on the shelves. I took a picture. I sent it to Sherilyn And I said, Caramilk is back. I'm going to try this chocolate because of you. And, but now, but now, this, this caramel chocolate is sold out everywhere. Every single um, store I've been into, I've only been into three, it's all gone. The shelves of where caramel chocolate is meant to be is gone. I don't know what's happened, but it's all sold out. And this is perfect, flawless marketing because now it's this limited edition chocolate and everyone wants it. And I'm hearing things of people selling it for $1,000 a block online. Can you believe that? Oh my God. Ah. Anyway, um, Sherilyn, chocolate sold out here, honey. I'm sure it's probably sold out where you are as well. Anyway, they are delicious. The caramel, it's not caramel, it's not white chocolate. It's they say it's a caramelized white chocolate. You just got to try some, but anyway, it's sold out. So anyway, time for me to go. I've got to be out in my garden. See my chooks out in the paddock right now. I've sent them out there because I didn't want them to bother me through this live stream. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this live stream talking about the Hollow Earth. And so you know me. I'm about practical evidence. Things that, there's a lot of things in the world that don't make sense. I'm the first to say that. But I think, with some practical evidence, I seem to think that the Earth is hollow. To what extent, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if most people know. I do believe there are some that absolutely know, but we will never hear from them. Well, maybe we will. I don't know. I don't know. But even if whistleblowers were to come forward, um, people don't believe them. People think, oh yeah, whatever. They're in it for fame. They're in it for a quick buck. They're in it for hot 10 minutes. Um, People are so even more skeptical these days now because of the influx of whistleblowers, of testimonies. Um, People are even more skeptical. Unfortunately, people cannot discern the difference. So anyway, beautiful people of Earth, love our planet. Play your role. Do what you need to do. And may you always be blessed by the supreme truth and love of the cosmos. Love you guys.